Hey all, this is Glaive coming in with another video, a follow-up to my previous indicator video for Grid 2 and how I use the indicators to make better healing decisions in a raid. I'd like to do some footage of a Blackwing Lair run. I got a lot of good feedback on the last video when I was just talking through random clips in Blackwing Lair. So this video, we're just going to run through a raid and see if the indicators line up with the decisions that I make, whether they could have been better or not, and I'll let you follow along and we'll see if the indicators really helped with my decision. So we'll start off with Razorgore. Not much going on in Razorgore, right? This is just the ad stage, and watching the raid frames here, there's really not much going on. We see some renews, some shields going off preventively from some of the priests, an ice barrier from a mage. So what I'm waiting for is for either targets to get direct threat, which is the red indicator in the top left corner, or some AoE damage that goes out, right? That's not caused via threat, so your party or raid members can get damage through AoE cleave attacks. That damage will come in without a threat indicator, so you got to be aware of that as well. So we see direct threat on Smash, so my cursor is hovering over him. He's got a powered shield, so I'm probably starting to pre-cast, which I haven't. The shield broke, and now Big Kevo has direct threat, and Smash does not have immediate threat anymore. It's no longer a red icon, so he's not taking direct damage, so my mouse is probably going to hover over to Kevo, which it does. And here go the flash Q, and while the Q of the flash heal on Big Kevo is landing, I'm switching back to Smash, who has direct threat. Juggling between the two as they're juggling the aggro. We got Flimsy and Garen here, who just took some cleave damage. So since the Smash and Big Kevo are topped up, I'm gonna help with the raid heals here and throw Garen a flash heal. Now as that heal lands, now I've got two choices. I can go back to Smash, who has direct threat with no hots, Wrathy, who's close to picking up threat with 1.2k damage down. My guess is I'm gonna go to Smash. There we go, I went to Smash, queued up a shield. It's a good time as a priest to queue up a shield when there is no incoming heals, right? So let's play that again. Let's get it caught up here. So we were here. Now see, we have a DPS warrior taking damage with direct threat with no incoming heals queued up, right? If there was incoming heals, there'd be a green background like Garen has, but it's black, and there's no hot. So as a priest, usually if you're healing from behind, you've got two options. You can go with your fastest heal, which is a flash heal, or you can just hit the target up with a shield. So for DPS warriors, I prefer to just throw the shield in hardcore. Anytime I see a warrior or a rogue take damage with direct threat and with no heal already queued up, I'm going to go for the shield every time. Had there been green already in the background after the damage was taken, then shield probably not as necessary, because that would be topped up pretty fast. So we can see my mouse hovers over Smash, and I decide to go with a shield. And then after the shield, the healing prediction goes up, which means someone has chosen Smash as a healing target. So we've taken care of that threat. Wrathy's got direct threat with incoming heals. So there's really nothing else to do right now but wait for the next step. So we got a Priest Death Week who takes direct threat. He's a Clothy. I always watch for Clothies. Give them an extra buffer. So there you go, I throw a shield just in case Deathwing was close to the target that caught the aggro. At least it's going to give him a buffer to take that damage, allow him to heal himself, use the defensive, use a lip, another player to heal him. Now in that case, nothing happened, but we're playing hardcore. It's preventative. It's being proactive rather than reactive. Now in this frame here, we got Big Kevo with direct threat, Little Zez the mage with direct threat. So the mage, same concept as the priest. I'm probably going to get over to him and hit him up with a shield, or in this case here, I am queuing up the flash heal. See, I did one flash heal cancel cast as showcased over here, flash heal cancel cast. Now I'm queuing up a second flash heal in the anticipation that he takes damage. Now, does he actually take damage? No. So I shield him again, just waiting. He's the only one with direct threat. Nothing happens. Okay, no problem. But I was anticipating the damage. I had the two casts that were canceled, threw on the shield. Nothing ended up happening. But if he was to get hit, you know, those flash heals would have landed much quicker because they were being pre-casted, right? So let's move on here. So now we've got Big Kevo with direct threat, no incoming heals, so he's definitely the prio target to heal here. So I'm trying to get a heal off him, but with the line of sight on the stairs, I'm running around frantically. Finally, some healer connects with him, and you can see the green. So that was a bit of a blunder there. The line of sight issues on these stairs is a pain. Now moving over to Flimsy, who has direct threat, casting a heal. So look, boom, 2 big heals on him. He went down to half health and was immediately topped up because the healers identified that you know, he's the one taking threat. Now got Big Kevo, same thing. He's got preemptive. No, Sailwind, the rogue, pulls threat. He's got a renew on him. So my house hovered quickly over him, but the threat was abolished. Warrior probably taunted. So back to Kevo. Wrathy takes some cleave damage. He's a DPS warrior with no direct threat. I take aggro from something, so as you can see, my mouse goes directly to my unit frame, and I'm probably waiting to either throw a defensive or see what's on me, but I don't identify the threat and move on. Smash has direct threat now. It's abolished, and that's it. You know, there's really not much going on in phase 1 of Razorgore, but the point of this walkthrough is to show you how I'm thinking, right, and where my mouse is going, because there's multiple targets that will take damage in a raid, but there has to be some logic as to which target you're going to heal. If you just pick any target and heal, yeah, it's classic healing. It's not difficult, but if you want to get to that next level, I believe this is how you should be thinking, right? So the indicators on your raid frame will tell the story. You need threat bars, you need predictive healing, and you need you know, some of those common class indicators like defensives and shields that we talked about in the last video. So we got Pig Vomit here with threat, shielded with the heal incoming, so he's safe. Little Zez, direct threat, a mage, so I hover over him. Start with the precast. Someone throws a shield on him, right? So he hasn't taken damage, but he's already got a shield. So you might ask, who threw him the shield? Like, he hasn't taken any damage. Like, but you know, so another priest is kind of monitoring the situation like I am, and threw the shield before the damage. And I'm queuing a flash heal at the moment on a mage who has not taken damage. So that's the next level, guys. It's, if you're not doing this in your raid, this is how you're gonna get to that level. Even though this is super easy, right? Like, you could do this with your eyes closed. You don't have to do any of these mechanics to survive this phase of this fight. We all know this, but if you think like this for other fights or 5-mans or other situations, it's going to improve your gameplay. So let's continue on with the fight here. So you know, you got some Orlocks life tapping. They've got their rejuves up. We're just waiting for the next threat to come. So we got Nataris here who just pulled threat. So he's a DPS warrior, direct threat. So you can see I'm queuing a flash heal on him, anticipating he's going to take damage. Look at that. He took 1.6k damage, and my flash heal is 0.3 seconds off to heal him for a full 1400. So he's pretty much topped off. So he took the damage and was restored to full in less than half a second because the flash heal was pre-casted. We didn't wait for the damage to be fully inflicted before sending the heal. So now Nataris is fully topped up. While the heal was going off, I was looking for my next target. I had life and myself with direct threat. I'm aware that there's nothing around me, so I'm safe. Nothing's gonna hit me until it runs up to me. So, but I don't know where life is, right? There's too much going on the screen. I have no idea where life is standing, so I'm most likely gonna throw him a shield, and there you go. There's the next global, a shield on life. He loses direct threat, so shield was completely useless. But once again, this is hardcore World of Warcraft. There could have been something right next to him. Something could have hit him. And even though these mobs don't hit very hard, going into AQ and into Naxxramas, where mobs do hit for lethal damage in 1 or 2 globals, this is the mindset you want to have going into the harder hitting content. So now there's no targets with direct threat other than myself, so my mouse ends up yeah, I just lose the threat, so it's not a big deal. Okay, here, next frame. Hunter, direct threat. Probably not going to take any damage. It's a hunter, super far range, usually able to kite. But as you can see, I'm queuing a flash heal into the hunter to see if he takes damage, and he doesn't end up taking any damage. He loses the threat, so I immediately cancel the cast. Now back to Big Kevo. Garfo takes aggro, he gets shielded. Big Kevo now has threat. Garen's flimsy. Oh, a rogue with incoming heals, direct threat. So this is a flash heal situation. Had there been no incoming, it would have been an instant powered shield. But I threw someone threw a shield. I healed, someone shielded him that fast, and that's Razorgore phase 1. So let's see if we can see a little bit more of Blackwing Lair here. We'll pull up the suppression room. Started from here. So if we're going into the suppression room where there's a lot of whelps, there's some flame strikes that could hit the floor, and then of course there's targets taking direct threat to tank these mobs. So you're going into a potential room with a lot of AoE, so what you want to see is a lot of pre-renews, pre-shields, if at all possible, right, depending on your raid. There's nothing wrong with sending some renews, so you can see some of our renew priests are just throwing out some preemptive renews. There's 5 priests in this raid, so every priest could pick 2 or 3 targets, send 2 or 3 globals, do a rank 3, rank 4 renew just to have a hot. Not overriding other renews, right? So if I was to send out some renews here, I wouldn't be picking Thought or Kevo or Blips or Runic, right? Why not pick Rathi and Flimsy and Rashala? Maybe blanket some of the DPS warriors. Now I choose not to renew in this room. I mean, I'm just giving you an example. Like if there's a room that is going to have a lot of AoE damage, why not send 2-3 globals while running in to blanket the raid? And you can do this with all your priests without even communicating in advance who's going to renew which target. You just go with what your raid frame is telling you. So if I was to pick these 4 targets, if the other priests are seeing the same information as I'm seeing, they would see the renews here and pick other targets, right? Let's not override each other's renews. Let's get the raid blanketed, so that way when the spike damage comes, there's already some heal over time on the targets that helps suppress some of that damage. All right, let's move on. So when we're in an AoE situation, yes, there's a lot of red dots here, but you just have to know who's prio, right? So tanks and DPS warriors can usually take more hits because they're beefier, they have more HP, they have more armor, so I usually concentrate on the clothies here. So we've got the mages, so there's 2 mages now with direct threat. They're both shielded, so let's see where my mouse is. So my mouse is now over Zephy. He's the only mage out of the 4 mages. He's the only mage that does not have a powered shield, and he has direct threat. So my global is going to be a precast flash heal, which lands but did nothing because Zephy did not take any damage. I've got 2 mages, OG and Ziff, who have aggro, but they're shielded, so for now they're safe. We got Blipsy the Warlock on the left, who's got aggro with no shield, so that's why you saw my mouse hover over the Warlock. Now Purple Pig, the Warlock in the bottom right, has direct threat. He's got no shields, no incoming heal, no renews, and he's hellfiring. How can I tell? Because I have my border glow when the Warlocks are hellfiring. So Purple is going to need some attention because he's hellfiring, taking damage, and he's got direct threat, so which means he's going to get beat down by whelps, and he's got no incoming, no renews. So my mouse hovers over Purple, and my next cast is a powered shield. Now that Purple's threat is abolished, we're going back to the tanks. So Big Kevo, you, and Runic, those 4 tanks in the corner are the main tanks. They're all hotted, some are shielded, so the tanks are in good health right now. And we move on. All right, next pack. So we get into this pack. Here we go. We've got Thought, who's a DPS warrior with threat, has a shield, and then we got our 2 first mages blasting away. We've got Little Zez and Ziff. So Zif's got a shield, little Zez doesn't. So where's my mouse going to go? Probably to Zez is my guess. Let's see where it goes. Oh, look at that. My mouse is on Zez. Next cast is a shield. Now Zephy took threat really fast and got clonked for 2400 health. No shield, no renew, no incoming. So my mouse is probably going to go to Zephy. There you go. Now Zephy got lipped. So that tells me right away he's lipped, immune to physical damage. He's safe. So my mouse, I don't even heal. I think I just start spamming. I just start spamming Holy Nova. I did not cast a powered shield. Had he not lipped, I would have powered shielded, right, or flash healed or something to remove threat. I mean, as a priest, your 3 outs you have when you're healing a DPS target to instantly save them or try to save them is you either shield them, you go for the quickest heals that you have, flash heal, and if that doesn't work, I mean, you've got target dummy, right? There are situations where there are targets taking damage and you see it on your raid frame and there's no other help you can offer, but you could target dummy, right? Send the dummy next to him, remove the threat off the target, and you'll save them. I mean, it's a very niche situation, but it's just, those are the 3 outs I can think of: shield, flash heal, or dummy. I mean, we have fear, but we all know that we don't fear in most dungeons and raids environments to remove the threat. Let's continue here. Alright, so going down the suppression room. Oh, I got my fire pot removed, so I like to use weak auras on my screen here. You see a fire pot popped up here. It's a lot easier to see debuffs that are missing as weak auras than looking at your buffs at the top, because there's so many. So I like to put buffs that are missing on my screen. So like I have all my protection potions here on the left. If I see it pop up, my eyes are always on the raid frames, right? So I can clearly see that I'm missing a fire protection potion. So I'll probably be reapplying that very soon. So if we look at my, as we go through the gameplay here, I'll probably reapply that in the next 30 seconds to a minute is my guess. Alright, so another flame strike goes out, raid damage all around. You definitely want to keep an eye out for AoE taunts, because when warriors are doing AoE taunt, that means there's probably a lot of damage incoming, and if they don't have a lip, they need to be healed. Now this is the best combo you can see: AoE taunt with a lip. So you has a lot of threat, probably being hit by many mobs. Is you in any danger? No, because I can see the lip timer, right? So as the timer goes down, it goes down. So not a prio target, but there are circumstances that you will come across where warriors will AoE taunt but will not lip. So that for you is a very crucial moment to throw a powered shield, start spamming your flash heals on that target, because you know the damage is coming. So make sure your raid frames clearly indicate who has an AoE taunt active. So this is a great example of an AoE taunt lip, and it's a very low priority for me as a healer right now until the lip is done. So in the meantime here, just healing other targets. So if we look at this snapshot here, you've got some DPS warriors that have taken damage. None of them have direct threat. They're missing incoming heals. Like Notorus here has incoming with a hot. If you didn't have this indicator, Notorus would just have a black background, right, and no hot. So you would think Notorus is in danger, but these indicators show me that Notorus is going to be fine. An incoming heal's coming, he's got a hot, because of the indicators, right? So this is the importance of having this information, so you can make the right decision. So Wrathy here to me would be the one who needs the attention the most in this second. So where does my mouse go? It goes right to Wrathy. You see that? And Wrathy is going to get the next heal, and then while that heal is being queued up, I can make my next decision. Alright, that's enough suppression room. We've got Broodlord, which we saw in the last video, so we're going to skip that. Let's do a boss. Let's do Firemaw. Here's Firemaw. Okay. So indicators for pre-pulls. We're doing a boss now, right? So Firemaw is about to be pulled. What you want to do as a priest is make sure that you get a powered shield up on the before pull. The ideal time to put the shield is, enough time for weakened soul to drop, right? Because during a pull, if there is a high amount of damage, like a Thrash or a Parry Haste, or just a big crit that lands on the main tank while your main tank is being positioned and your healers are the healers are being positioned. There's not always a bunch of pre-casts or going on the tank at all times, so the shield is going to absorb some of that initial damage, allowing for your healers to catch up. And now if Weakened Soul is no longer on the target, that's a chance for a priest to throw in another shield in case that burst damage is very bursty on the pull, right? So we don't want to constantly be shielding a tank, but on pull, like I would say the best time to shield is I think the cooldown on Weakened Soul is 10-15 seconds. Just off the top of my head, I'm making this video, I'm doing this live, so correct me in the comments, but the time it takes for Weakened Soul to drop, right? That's the perfect time to pre-shield. And then of course you want to start spamming rank 1 flash heal. So we talked about in my indicator video last time that the blue border is inspiration, so we're as a priest you want to be spamming rank 1 flash heal pre-pull to try to proc that inspiration. So we're setting up for the pull. There's Firemaw coming in. We've got our tank pre-inspired, pre-shielded. We have Weakened Soul about to fall off, which means that see, the shield just fell, and if we needed another shield, like the Weakened Soul is still there, so it means the shield was applied a bit too late, right? But it's really hard to time it sometimes, in raid comms you don't know exactly when the pull is going to happen, so you kind of do your best guess. So this was a decent pull, pre-inspired, pre-renewed, pre-shielded, and now the incoming heals are coming in and normal damage is happening. So the pull is set up very clean. And now we're just, it's Firemaw, so I'm in the tank position. I've got one tank to heal, so just flooding him with heals. You can go with like your regular heal, your flash heal. I mean, it all depends on your mana pool and the duration of the fight, right? So as long as you're pumping the tank with heals, you're going to keep inspiration up, keep that incoming heals. And the only mechanic I would say is to watch for the spike damage, which is Shadow Flame. So as we're healing the tank, keeping him renewed, here comes the Shadow Flame cast, and what's going to be my next global? It's going to be a powered shield, probably mid-cast, to absorb this spike damage. So there it is. There's the powered shield. Mid-cast, that Shadow Flame is going to get eaten. We'll eat the shield, go through about a quarter of the tank's health, letting us stabilize the tank. So that's really what you want to do on any mechanic where there's predictive spike damage. So we're talking about Shadow Flames and Blackwing Lair. There's some others in this game that I just can't think about right now live on this video, but you get my point, right? So now we're back to healing the tanks. Used tanking temporarily during the wing buffet. Now Runic's going to get the threat back because you just got wing buffeted, and now we're back to tank healing. So the tank's expired. There's missing a renew, so I'm probably going to be renewing very soon. There you go. There's the renew. So you want the tank renewed, inspired, and now shields. Keep your shields for moments. Like there's some priests who just shield on cooldown, right? They see the Weakened Soul disappear and just throw the shield just to pump healing meters, I believe. There's no reason to do that. Keep your shield for predictive spike damage, for moments when tanks take a ton of damage that wasn't expected, because it's an instant heal. Like, so 50% or lower, I would say, it's like your oh my gosh button. And moments where you have a target with no incoming, right? So let's take, for example, this paladin here. Let's say this paladin was now the tank. Just swap them. There's no incoming heals on the paladin, and the paladin has direct threat. So yes, shield the target now because there's no incoming heals. That's like an instant 1600 heal and allows other healers to now stabilize. So that, use your shields for mortal strikes when there's no incoming healing with a chunk of damage missing on the primary target, and predictive spike. Just don't spam shield your tank. It puts Weakened Soul up and prevents it. So here's the next Shadow Flame. So my next global is most likely going to be a shield. There it is. So you got your shield, Shadow Flame's going to land, and very clean Firemaw. And I guess we'll do one more. We'll do a techie pack, and then that'll be enough for this video. And I believe it just helps put the indicators from the past video in perspective. So here's a Techie Pack pull. So pre-pull, we got a few shields out on some DPS. Why not, right? Pre-pull, shield your DPS, shield your rogues, get their effective health pools up, allows time for weakened soul to draw pre-pull, meaning that if they do get hit with AoE damage, bombs, you know, they've got a higher effective health pool. You can reapply a new shield if needed, if it's an emergency. It's all around just good practice to do in hardcore, or I mean even in classic, right? But I think I've never played in a raid where you can die and res. So I only started playing WoW the last couple, you know, since Bloodsail Buccaneer days with the add-on is what brought me back. So just have good practices to keep people's effective health pools up as high as possible. Alright, so here comes the pull. So we've got a bunch of DPS just pre-renewed, pre-shielded in case they get hit by dynamite. No one has established direct threat yet, which is fine. The pull is still happening, but our two mages here just get chunked by dynamite, so that's why my mouse is here. So there's no incoming heal, no renews. So what do you think my next global is going to be? You guessed it, powered shield. So let's see who I shield. I shield Zif, and then the other mage Zeph is going to get shielded right away by another priest. So two priests reacted very fast there, increased the effective health pool of both mages who just took damage, and then right away you see the incoming heals from other healers, so they're going to get topped off. So now they're safe. My mouse immediately moves away. I'm not going to start throwing another heal right now because there's no direct threat. The shields are there, I see the incoming, so I'm going to look for a new target to heal. So when waiting, I see a polymorph go over here on Big Chimpin, so my mouse is going to hover over the paladin to dispel. So now the paladin is out of the polymorph. Now the established threat on the tanks is clearly visible on your raid frame. We got Runic, you, Bips, and Big Kevo up here, established threat on their ads. So now they're down yet. Now they need to be looked after. So they're all targets have heals over times, and we're just going to babysit the tanks now until some of the raid damage goes out. So like, look, a little bit of raid damage is going out. It's not detrimental, but if the tanks are safe and you're a raid healer, you can start throwing out your flash heals, and as long as you're not choosing the same target as someone else, right? So for example, Raidros here, if you did not have predictive healing, you would not see the green bar here, so you would say, I'll heal Raidros. But why would you go heal Raidros when Easy has no incoming, right? So that's why I'm going to go heal Easy and not Raidros, because I can see it. So your raid frame tells you everything. So right now Smash needs to be dispelled. Wrathy took some damage. The tanks that have established threat are still full health with renews. So my next global is going to be to dispel probably Smash, which I did. I'm going to rush to Wrathy, but Wrathy got the incoming heal before I got a cast off. So I'm not going to go cast another heal. I'm there, might as well just drop a shield in case he took more damage, but I didn't stop to heal because the heal was there before me. So I just left the shield, and now I'm bouncing back to the tanks, and then I'm just going to heal the tanks for a bit and watch the raid. That's it. Big Kevo now is the last one standing, tanking this Overseer. He's got direct threat, he's inspired, he has a shield. That pull was cleanly done. So I'm going to wrap this video like this. So it's a follow-up to my indicator video from last time. I hope you like this format. It's Blackwing Lair. It's not hard. It's classic WoW, yes. But this is the mindset that I use to heal all content, whether it's a leveling dungeon in Dead Mines, in Sunken Temple, whether it's 10-man UBRS, or raids from MC to Max Ramus. So I hope I have now shared this video to put you in my mind and how I think about healing. Let me know if it helps you and if you've learned anything, and I appreciate you watching. Glaive Storm signing out.